On October 26th was the 20th anniversary of the PlayStation 2. For a lot of people, the PS2 defined arguably the greatest generation of gaming. One of the best selling consoles of all time. I remember when I first got my PS2, I actually wanted a GameCube. Going from the
Mm.
PlayStation, I wanted a GameCube, but the GameCube was surprisingly sold out. And my dad gave me a PS2 instead because he thought that, he has a PS1, we'll give him a PS2. I'll never Christmas, man. I got my PS2 with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, and ever since then, man, it was game on. And for a lot of people, the PS2 was essential thing to have in your entertainment system. What are your thoughts, man, on the PS2? How it defined the era of gaming and some of your memories of it?
Oh man, like for me, bro, I gotta say it. The PlayStation 2 in my lifetime is the greatest gaming console ever made. That's I mean that might come off as a hot take, and I know what Nintendo has done for the game.
Hmm.
Nintendo was the one that laid the foundation for everything that happens in gaming now. Like Mr. Miyamoto is a legend. His face, he is Mount Rushmore when it comes to gaming. There is no Mount Rushmore. There's Mount Miyamoto in
Hell
terms
yeah.
of video gaming. But the PlayStation 2 is the greatest console ever made. It it oh man, I don't even know where to start. Like it, it is. That's where I start with that. It begins with the admission that that's the greatest console ever created. It was the first gaming system that I feel like crossed over into the territory of also being an entertainment console. The PlayStation 2 never had a DVD player installed into the hardware. That was a game changer, man. On top of it having the greatest gaming library ever, it, it doubled
Yes.
down as an entertainment console in a time where entertainment was changing. That system came out towards the end of the VHS era, ushering in the DVD era, and it was there right when that happened. The PlayStation 2 was right there when that transition happened. That
Yeah,
can't be,
dude.
yeah, that fact right there cannot be undersold or understated that it was right there at the cutting edge of the end of one era of analog entertainment into another era of analog entertainment. But digress. To answer your question, my earliest memories of the PlayStation 2, I remember my Uncle Mark had got a PlayStation 2. He was the first person I'd ever seen that had one. I just remember going over to his house and watching him play it. I didn't even want to play it. I wanted to watch him play it. I'd never seen anything like that before. I'd never seen a game console that looked like that. The jump from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 was amazing. Like something like that can't even be matched in this current era of consoles and this current era of gaming. The jump between PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 to this day is still unmatched.
Oh yeah, dude. It That was a phenomenal jump of polygons. I mean, as technology improves and things become so surreal and this realism, this photogenic realism is pretty much established with the PS4 and Xbox One and continuing on to the PS5 and Xbox One Series S and X. That jump from PS1 to PS2, that jump from N64 to GameCube, that jump from Sega Saturn to Dreamcast, that was a phenomenal jump of power, man. And it was such a day and night switch that it's harder to replicate that in these next generations of consoles.
Right. The gap between and not to like get on a different topic, but like as of right now, unless you're really a graphics head, unless you're really one of these people that breaks down the frame rates and the number of polygons and how smooth games can transition between cutscenes in real time. The reason why I'm not buying a PlayStation 5 right now is because I still got good mileage on my PlayStation 4. When the
Yeah.
PS2 came out, if you didn't have if you still had a PlayStation 1 by the time that the PlayStation 2 came out, which a lot of us didn't, you were already starting out behind the curve, man.
Yeah.
You was already behind the curve, bro. Like that was the first game console that I feel like transcended gaming in a way that made it more than just it made it more than just about playing video games at that point in time. The PlayStation 2 became an event within itself upon launch. And that entire era, even though you had game like the Xbox graphically was better than the PlayStation 2. You'd agree with that, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
The GameCube might have been a little bit more fun with the four controller ports and everything like that, and the Super Mario games, the Super Smash Brothers. But the PlayStation 2 was the one above everything else because it set the tone for all of those other consoles that came after it. What makes it special, in my opinion, it was the one that opened up the door and threatened Microsoft enough to where they figured they had to get into this business. It made Nintendo want to step their game up to where they knew they had to do something different enough to where they didn't get slaughtered by chasing a certain demographic.
Right.
All the while, PlayStation 2 and what Sony was doing with that console, they stayed in their lane for that entire generation. They
For
stayed
sure,
in their
dude.
lane. They never tried to do too much. The successes of what they did with the PlayStation 2 almost made the PlayStation 3 less than what it should have been, but that's a different conversation.
There's a reason why the PlayStation 2 is the best-selling gaming console of all time. It is the
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 2 with 155 million units sold.
Man,
Second place is PS4, which is 108. So that alone tells you the PS2, like you said, it transcended gaming. It was mandatory in every entertainment system out there for every household. For a lot
yep.
of people, it was their first DVD player. Like you said, that transition from VHS to DVD, that was a lot of people's first DVD player out there. So on the jump,
Facts.
you could have games, and then you could play your DVDs on that bad boy. I mean, that was a really good marketing, really good move on the hardware side for PS2 and Sony to develop that. And just
Facts.
that gaming library, dude, the
Oh
greatest
man.
gaming library, thousands of titles, bro. Thousands. I mean,
Man.
when you walk into a GameStop and the longest wall, the biggest wall of the GameStop was all PS2 games. Xbox had and Nintendo had the corner.
Yep.
Nintendo had the corner, or even just a little kiosk in the middle of the freaking store with GameCube games. PS2 had a whole freaking wall to itself, bro. Just the accessories, the iToy that was the gun cons playing Time Crisis on there, the
Oh
dance
man.
pads for DDR. It was accessible to any kind of game you wanted was on the PS2.
Remember the Sega Dreamcast?
Yeah, my boy. Yeah, rest in peace, Sega Dreamcast.
Exactly.
Yo,
That
yeah,
that that
yeah,
that was gonna be my question right there. Back to the PlayStation 2. Ah,
yeah. Rest in peace,
that,
Sega Dreamcast, man.
that was no, but no, I'm bullshitting. I'm bullshitting a little bit. The only reason I brought up the Sega Dreamcast is because that was a great console. That was a great console, but this juggernaut known as the PlayStation 2 came out, and that was the end of it right there.
Yeah,
Sega was done making consoles, bro. They got out
that's
of the hardware business.
that was the Mike Tyson knockout right there.
They got out of the hardware business because of this juggernaut called the PlayStation 2, bro. Kind of wanted to throw that in there, man.
You can't mention the PS2 launch without mentioning the Sega Dreamcast demise, man. They the two go hand in hand with each other for all the console heads and the game historians. And for you listeners out there, you can just look up Sega Dreamcast and know what we're talking about. Cause
Body
yeah, man,
bag.
bring out the body bag for Sega, man. And to this day, Sony is still feeling the success of the PS2 with every single version after that being released. It's still almost built on that strength of what PlayStation 2 brought to the table. And